So here we're given some descriptions of how some chemicals react together, and it wants us to complete a word equation. So we've got lead nitrate and potassium chloride solution are mixed. So the other chemical that is the reactant is this potassium chloride, and it tells me it's going to form lead nitrate and potassium nitrate. So the other chemical produced is the potassium nitrate. There's 1 mark for getting both bits correct. Okay, which hazard symbol should be on the lead nitrate? Tells me it is toxic. So the only one here that matches a toxic chemical would be the skull and crossbones. That's D. Okay, next little one. A student puts 5 centimeters into a test tube, 2 centimeters out, precipitate is formed and allowed to settle. So remember, precipitate is an insoluble solid. The height of the precipitate was measured. Give the name the students of the equipment the student should use to find the volume of a solution. So you're going to find the volume of a solution. We would use a measuring cylinder in a laboratory. So here we've got a measuring cylinder. Then it says the students repeat the experiment 5 times. Use the data to calculate the mean. So all we're going to do here is do 2.4 plus 2.7 plus 2.4, and we're going to divide that by 3 because there are 3 numbers that we're adding together. So let me just do that on my calculator. So it's 2.4 plus 2.7 plus 2.4, and then divide the whole thing by 3 is going to be 2.5. Marks wise, if you got this bit correct and then this, you get the marks. Describe how a pure dry sample of the precipitate can be obtained. Okay, so let me just take this image here, and I do want to copy it. Let's copy it. And I'm just going to paste it here, and then I'm going to make it small so it fits into the space. Okay, so what I want here is I want this precipitate, and the precipitate at the moment is in a solution. So to get the precipitate, which is insoluble, out of the solution, the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to filter the mixture. Okay, and if I do that, I'm going to get myself 1 mark. The second bit, so once I've filtered it, my precipitate will be inside the filter funnel, inside the filter paper. So I'm going to say here, in fact, yeah, we can call it precipitate because it has called it that. So precipitate will be in the filter paper. Okay, and then what I need to do is wash the precipitate with distilled water. And that's going to remove any impurities on the surface, and then leave it to dry in a warm place. So marks wise is how they're going to be allocated for that one. The students tested whether increasing the volume increased the height of precipitate formed. They repeated the experiment using different volumes of calcium nitrate. State 1 variable that should be controlled. So in this one, they would have to control the concentration of the calcium nitrate. You wouldn't want to have different concentrations because that would affect the results. Okay.